Picture this. It's 1891, a bitterly cold winter in Springfield, Massachusetts. A young physical education teacher named James Naismith is facing a challenge. He's tasked with creating a new indoor game to keep his students active during the harsh winter months. A game that was safe, could be played indoors, and was suitable for walled-in gymnasiums. A daunting task indeed, but Naismith was not one to back down. Drawing upon his childhood in Canada, where he'd played a game called Duck on a Rock, Naismith imagined a game that combined elements of rugby, soccer, and a dash of his own inventiveness. The concept was simple: a ball, two teams, and a goal to shoot the ball into. But what to use for the goal? Enter the humble peach basket. Naismith hung 2 peach baskets at each end of the gymnasium. The baskets, still with their bottoms intact, were nailed 10 feet high on the gymnasium balcony. The ball was a soccer ball, the only ball available to him at the time. He then divided his class of 18 into 2 teams of 9 and set them to play his new game. The objective? Throw the ball into the opposing team's peach basket. But there was a twist. Unlike most ball games of the time, this new game would have no running with the ball, no shouldering, and no tripping. Naismith's focus was on skill, not strength, a concept that was rather revolutionary at the time. The game was an instant hit with his students. They loved the novelty, the challenge, and the camaraderie it fostered. Word quickly spread about this new exciting game. Naismith wrote down the 13 basic rules of the game, and thus what we now know as basketball was officially born. And just like that, on a cold December day, basketball was born. A game conceived out of necessity, born of ingenuity, and nurtured by the love of sport and competition. A game that started with a soccer ball and 2 peach baskets, but would go on to conquer the world. Oh, with the game in place, Naismith knew he needed a set of rules to guide it. And so he invented a set of 13 basic rules, a simple manual to navigate this new game. From the idea of dribbling to the concept of shooting, these rules served as the foundation of the sport we now know as basketball. Picture this, it's the late 19th century in a small YMCA gymnasium in Springfield, Massachusetts. The first game of basketball is about to commence. The players are in position, the spectators are watching with bated breath, and the game begins. It's a bit chaotic at first, with players fumbling and grappling with this new concept, but as the minutes tick away, the players start to get the hang of it. The ball zips across the room, bouncing off the gymnasium walls, and the first basket is scored. The crowd erupts into applause, and just like that, a new sport is born. The simplicity of these rules and the dynamic nature of the game quickly caught the attention of other YMCA members. News of this exciting new game spread like wildfire, and soon YMCA gymnasiums across the country started to host their own basketball games. From New York to California, basketball was quickly becoming a favorite pastime. Each game played, each basket scored, helped to refine the rules and shape the sport into what it is today. But let's not forget that basketball was still in its infancy. There were no slam dunks, no three-pointers, and certainly no flashy moves. It was a simple game, played with a basic set of rules, but its simplicity was its beauty. It was a game that anyone could play, regardless of their physical prowess or athletic abilities. And that, dear listeners, was the magic of basketball. From a small YMCA gymnasium in Springfield to YMCAs across the country, basketball was on the move. And as it moved, it changed, evolved, and grew into the thrilling sport that millions of people around the world love and enjoy today. But that, my friends, is a story for another time. From these humble beginnings, basketball began to reach new heights. As the game took root in schools and communities across the United States, a need arose for a unified professional league. Enter the National Basketball Association, or as we all know it, the NBA. The NBA was born in the post-war boom of the mid-40s, specifically on a fateful day in June 1946, when 2 competing leagues, the Basketball Association of America and the National Basketball League, merged. This unification marked a pivotal moment for the sport, propelling it onto a national stage and into the hearts of fans across the country. Now, the NBA wasn't an overnight sensation. In its early years, it faced numerous challenges. From struggling to fill arenas to a lack of television coverage, The league had its fair share of growing pains, but perseverance and a passion for the game kept the NBA afloat. What truly catapulted the NBA onto the international stage was the advent of television. By the late 50s and early 60s, games were being broadcast into homes across America. Families could now huddle around their TV sets and watch the magic of basketball unfold right before their eyes. This was a game changer. The NBA was no longer just a league, it was a household name. The NBA's impact wasn't confined to the United States. As the league grew, it began to draw talent from around the globe. The world watched as players from Europe, Africa, Asia, and South America donned NBA jerseys and showcased their skills on the court. Basketball had officially gone global, and the NBA was at its helm. The NBA's influence on the sport can't be overstated. It was the driving force behind the game's evolution, setting the standards for how basketball should be played. The league introduced rule changes that shaped the sport we know today. From the introduction of the shot clock to the three-point line, the NBA has been a catalyst for innovation. The NBA also played a crucial role in the popularization of the sport. With its star-studded rosters, high-profile games, and thrilling playoffs, the NBA brought basketball into the mainstream. It made the sport cool, it made it glamorous, and it made it a global phenomenon. In a span of a few decades, the NBA transformed basketball from a humble game played in a YMCA gymnasium to a global spectacle. Today, it's hard to imagine a world without the nail-biting games, the buzzer-beating shots, and the unforgettable moments that the NBA has given us. With the birth of the NBA, basketball had officially entered the big leagues. The game that started as a simple pastime had grown into a sport that captivates millions around the world. And the journey, my friends, is far from over. The NBA continues to write new chapters in the captivating story of basketball. Every sport has its heroes, and basketball is no exception. In the annals of basketball, a few names stand out, casting long shadows on the hardwood courts where they carved their legends. One such name is Michael Jordan. Known as his airness, Jordan was a force of nature on the court. His gravity-defying leaps and clutch performances for the Chicago Bulls in the 80s and 90s transformed the game, making it a global phenomenon. 6 NBA championships, 5 MVP awards, and a place on the Dream Team, the 1992 USA Olympic basketball team, are just a few highlights from his illustrious career. But before Jordan, there was Magic. Irvin "Magic" Johnson, with his infectious smile and wizardry on the court, redefined the point guard position. With the Los Angeles Lakers, Magic won 5 NBA titles and 3 MVP awards in the 80s. His on-court rivalry with Boston Celtics forward Larry Bird, another legend of the game, is the stuff of basketball lore. Bird, known for his fierce competitiveness and sharp shooting, led the Celtics to 3 NBA championships and won 3 consecutive MVP awards. These players weren't just superstars. They were trailblazers, pushing the boundaries of what was possible on a basketball court. They weren't just athletes, but artists, painting masterpieces with their dazzling displays of skill, determination, and flair. And then there were the teams. The Showtime Lakers of the 80s, with Magic at the helm, were known for their fast-paced, highly entertaining style of play. The 90s Bulls, led by Jordan and his trusted lieutenant, Scottie Pippen, dominated the decade with their relentless defense and efficient offense. And who can forget the Boston Celtics of the 60s, who won an incredible 8 consecutive championships under the leadership of the legendary Bill Russell. These players and teams didn't just win games and championships, they won hearts. They brought joy to millions, and in doing so, elevated basketball from a game to a global spectacle. They showed us that basketball is more than just a sport. It's a canvas for expressing human potential. Their influence extends beyond the court. They've inspired countless others to pick up a basketball and dream. They've shown that with hard work, determination, and a little bit of magic, anyone can reach for the stars. They've taught us that basketball isn't just about scoring points. It's about teamwork, perseverance, and the pursuit of excellence. In the end, these legendary figures are more than just players. They are the essence of the game. Their stories, filled with triumphs and trials, are woven into the very fabric of basketball. They've helped shape the game into what it is today, a dynamic, thrilling spectacle loved by millions around the world. These legends have left an indelible mark on the sport, inspiring countless others to reach for greatness. Now, let's delve into some interesting curiosities and lesser-known facts about basketball. Did you know that the first basketball game was played with a soccer ball? That's right. The original hoops were also quite different from what we're familiar with today. They were actual peach baskets with the bottoms intact. Every time a player scored, someone had to climb up and retrieve the ball. Talk about a workout! And speaking of hoops, the standard height we know and love today, 10 feet, was not a meticulously calculated decision. It was simply the height of the balcony from which Dr. Naismith hung the first peach basket. Now, that's a stroke of luck that has defined the game for over a century. Moving on to the ball itself, the first purpose-made basketballs were brown, and it wasn't until the late 1950s that Tony Hinkle introduced the orange ball to make it more visible to players and spectators. Imagine trying to keep your eye on a brown ball during a fast-paced match. Moreover, the design of the basketball has evolved over time. The first balls had laces, much like a football. It wasn't until the 1930s that the laceless ball we know today was introduced. Here's another fun fact. The shortest player to ever play in the NBA was Tyrone Muggsy Bogues, standing at a mere 5 feet 3 inches tall. In contrast, the tallest players in NBA history, Gheorghe Muresan and Manute Bol, both towered at 7 feet 7 inches. Now that's a height difference. And lastly, did you know that basketball is one of the few sports that was invented in less than 2 hours? Dr. Naismith came up with the game out of necessity to keep his students active during a rainy day. Little did he know, his quick thinking would result in a game that's adored by millions worldwide. Basketball is full of surprises, isn't it? Basketball is more than just a game. It's a global phenomenon with a significant cultural and social impact. From the blacktop courts of inner cities to the polished hardwood of professional arenas, basketball has a universal appeal that transcends borders and cultures. Basketball's influence stretches far beyond the scoring of points. It has become a vital part of our social fabric, inspiring millions of people across the globe. Young children look up to their favorite players, dreaming of one day emulating their moves on the court. Teenagers hone their skills in local leagues, learning the values of teamwork, discipline, and resilience. Adults, too, find joy and camaraderie in pickup games, uniting communities and fostering connections among people of all backgrounds. But the impact of basketball isn't confined to local communities. On a larger scale, it serves as a platform for social change and inclusion. Players and teams use their influence to address societal issues, standing up for equality, justice, and human rights. From Bill Russell's civil rights activism in the 60s to LeBron James's More Than a Vote initiative, basketball figures have consistently leveraged their platform for the greater good. Basketball has also played a significant role in cultural exchange and understanding. International competitions like the Olympics and the FIBA World Cup bring nations together, fostering mutual respect and camaraderie. The NBA's global outreach has introduced the game to countless countries, creating a shared language of hoops and dunks, buzzer beaters and triple doubles. Moreover, basketball has contributed to the broader culture in profound ways. It's intertwined with music, fashion, and entertainment, influencing and being influenced by these spheres. The sport's unique style and swagger have shaped trends, while its narratives and personalities have enriched our storytelling. Basketball has undeniably left its mark on the world, transcending the boundaries of the court to impact society at large. The game continues to inspire, unite, and drive change, proving that it's more than just a sport. It's a movement, a lifestyle, a global community bound by the love of the game. Our journey through the history of basketball has come to an end, but the love for the game continues. It's been a thrilling ride, hasn't it? From the humble beginnings of a winter day in 1891 to the echoing cheers in stadiums around the world, basketball has truly left an indelible mark on our lives. Now, we invite you to join the conversation. Have a favorite basketball memory? We'd love to hear it. Know an obscure basketball fact that wasn't mentioned? Share it with us. Your thoughts, stories, and insights make this journey all the more enriching. Don't forget to share this video with your fellow sports enthusiasts. Spread the love for the game and let's grow this community of basketball history aficionados. To make sure you don't miss out on more fascinating explorations into the world of sports, do subscribe to our channel. Stay tuned for more intriguing journeys